Hello, everybody, and welcome to This is a Radio Show. I'm your host, Alicia Grace, and I am joined tonight by our special host, DJ Elsewhere.
Hello.
Kayla, thanks for helping me out tonight.
I'm so happy to be here.
Are you?
I am.
Happy, nervous, excited?
More nervous about tomorrow. This is cool though. I mean, it's chill. It's like I've been here before, you know.
Yeah, we've done this. We've done this. So for our listeners, we did have Kayla on. That was in January for Hotel Minnesota. It felt a little too soon to interview again, so I figured we might as well shoot the shit on air instead. Well, and the reason we invited Kayla back is because we are promoting a show that she is on the bill for tomorrow night at Driftwood Char Bar. It's going to be Vibronics, McPullish, yourself, DJ Elsewhere, and then there also is a visual artist, Inside the Robot, and she is actually here to chat with us tonight, live and in studio. We'll be getting to that in a little bit. If this is your first time tuning in, we would love it if you dropped a quick comment in the Discord chat and let us know you're here. The link can be found on any of our recent posts or pinned posts on Instagram, Instagram, Facebook, also on linktree.com/thisisperfectharmony, and by commenting on in our Discord, you're also automatically entered to win our giveaway tonight. We're giving away 2 tickets to the show tomorrow at Driftwood Char Bar, and we're also throwing in a super dope, no pun intended, gift bag from our show sponsor, Sensi Seed. Sensi Seeds is the oldest cannabis seed bank in the world. And the gift bag includes a White Widow seed package, a rolling tray, papers, and stickers. Kayla, how cool is that?
That's pretty cool. I didn't actually know about the White Widow seeds. I'm kind of jealous of that. Like, I want some of those.
What's blowing my mind is that this is legal.
Yeah, I'm still adjusting to it. I can't. It's like I stopped myself from being like, oh, like I was smoking weed, whatever. It's like it's still hard for me to like even say that casually. Like, it's weird. Like I just got this new job, and like they drug tested, but it's like I was worried, but then I realized like the only thing I have to worry about is legal now.
Yeah, and then that's okay. Because I know like states like Colorado, they like didn't want marijuana in your system even though it's legal.
There's a lot of weird loopholes and stuff, but this particular place like they don't. At least not in legal states. So that is pretty cool.
Perfect. I don't know. The seed package is pretty cool. And then 2 tickets to the show. I mean, it's going to be a good time. You've done a couple performances at this venue over the last few months, 2 months.
Last month.
It's been a month.
Yeah, it was there every other Thursday. So I did the last 2. So it's been about a month and a half.
Yeah, I like this venue too. It's real chill.
It's cool. It's a small venue. It's crazy. Like I used to live in the neighborhood, and I went there years ago, and it's just this little hole in the wall, and it's a cool little vibe, and like it's especially nice since we were able to do these for free, and my friends were able to come out, fans were able to come out and stuff, and just even doing a local show and telling people about it, and then having them come out to it is kind of a new experience. It's like there's a lot of dead shows and heartache in this line of work, and just like the fact that I've been able to do these and have people come out and enjoy it. It's been like a lot of fun.
Yeah, you've been popping off recently with a lot of fun announcements.
I have. Actually, I got a couple more coming up too.
Anything you can share with us?
They've been announced. Both of them. Let's see. So, April 11th, I believe it is. Megan Hamilton is coming out with her new EP the day after, and she's doing a release party at the 7th Street Entry on the 11th. With her, Hawks, me, and then a late night drum and bass cipher with Sean Anonymous and Pee Wee Dread.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and she's purposely doing this like at a smaller venue at the Entry, and it's like it's just I already know it's just going to be insane. And then a week later, I have Uptown VFW, Slippery People, Talking Heads tribute. Those are always so much fun. Like I think they pretty much always sell out. And I've done a couple of those. Actually, the first one that I did was February 2020. So it was actually the last show that I played before lockdown, and it was incredible. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Ooh, that's so exciting. That's a lot of good stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, okay. Woo. Back, though. Discord, all you gotta do is comment at least once. Hang out with us in there for your chance to win 2 tickets to the Vibronics show as well as the gift bag giveaway. Now, if you saw our post on social media, you did see that we had the exact same giveaway, but for our social media commenters. So we have 2 of the exact same packages that we're giving away. One for our live listeners, and one for the social media people. So we did select the winner for the social media winner, and that's Juliana May. Congratulations, you got 2 tickets to the show. Yay. And stuff to start growing and rolling. So if you didn't win from social media, you still can enter again on this contest. So just go ahead, join us in the Discord. The links are on all of our profiles and in the link tree, probably the same place you found the link to tune into this. Well, let's get started with a track. Do you think we hit all the marks, Kayla?
I think so. I can't think of anything we're missing.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's start with a song. Should we start with one of yours?
Sure.
All right, this is the one I noticed was the newest on your drive, so I'm assuming you uploaded it for this. Do you want to talk a little bit about this track?
Actually, the interview that we did in January, one of the tracks that I played, I forgot about how, like, how it was titled. I mean, I have a tendency, like a lot of producers, to just like title it how I recognize it as. And I had a little like flips thing in the parentheses, and you asked about that, and I explained that it's this Wicked the Instigator Facebook thing. He picks a sample, and then whoever wants to like download it, flip it into a beat, and then we have listening party. This is another one of those.
Nice. All right, let's give it a listen. And then when we come back from this song, I will have visual artists Inside the Robot with me chatting about their art. Okay. That was DJ Elswer's track, Let the Party Begin. That was fun. I think that's a real good little taste of kind of the energy we're going to be having at the show tomorrow night at Driftwood Char Bar. But now I am joined by visual artist Inside the Robot, Linnea. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm super excited.
So you're going to be setting up at the show. And I also noticed your art is up there.
I do. My art is currently installed at Driftwood as one of the featured artists. So up closest to the front windows, I've got a whole section of wall with a big variety of my work that's prints, originals, a little bit of everything.
Are you going to be setting up a table and stuff at this event with some more stuff? Or is that going to be...
I hadn't considered that.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah, I could bring some stuff down. Yeah, I do. I do have some fun merch that I could bring up, and so that would be cool. One of the things that I have that might be something fun to bring is I've got a series of vinyl records that I painted on, and so I'll have to bring a couple of those down and show. Maybe I'll like give one away or something.
Oh, that's so cool. And perfect for this crowd too.
That's what I figured. I'm like, these are the people who are going to appreciate the vinyl, and you can't. Well, I'm out there just wrecking it.
So tell people a little bit about your style. What's your chosen medium, and how did you choose your name?
So I work across a lot of mediums. My name is Inside the Robot, and it's because this robot character that I created as my little personal avatar is just the thing that people remember out of all my work. And I do a lot of different styles and a lot of different variety of subjects, but I always like having, like, I'm representative. I always like having a picture when I'm done, not just abstract. And so it's really colorful, really bold, but the robot, his big round eyes, that's the thing that people just really have remembered through my work. And the name comes from, my work is really about human connection and sort of like this concept of the universe and how we're all made of light, and how, you know, wherever we are, we have this invisible connection to the people who, you know, we love and interact with and everything like that. And robots were kind of a perfect representation of that for me, partially because I just found it hilarious to take something that was supposed to be very, very human and put it in a machine, but also really highlighted that really well.
Yeah.
And the other part is that you can put whatever you want in a robot. I have a robot at home that vacuums under my bed, and there's a robot in Mars taking pictures of space. So that piece I really like. It's versatile.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I really like kind of like, you know, I think we also kind of see robots as like, and we think of like the less literal translation, like as like these AI unintelligent machines.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, we assign the meaning inside of them. It's a little bit more than that.
So, fun fact, the very first paint robot I ever made a painting of was in 2004. And that was before iPhones came out. And now we have AI and computer everything, and it's all automated, and we're in an entirely new world. So it just gets more and more exciting, like as technology advances. For me, I am on the side of the robots. I will be friends with our new overlords.
So you said you started painting the robot in 2004,
Yeah.
correct? Tell us about your art journey before then.
So 2004 was right when I was finding my way in the world after college. I went to art school for illustration, and from there I was just trying to like develop a style and create paintings. And so that was just a little piece of the journey to like, I don't know, have a voice in art. Like still looking to find that voice in art, and to, you know, share with the world things that I think are worth sharing, and things that make the world a better place.
Excuse the noise, folks. We got a bus kitty who was meowing and is now sitting on the desk whacking the mic with his tail. This is why we like DIY culture, because this is okay.
But yeah, so I moved back to Minneapolis after college, and the way that I ended up getting into the live painting was I had a friend who was a bass player in a local band. They were called Marvell, and this was 2007, 2008, right about the time that Cloud Cult was getting started.
Yes.
And he was like, they have a live painter. I want that. You need to get on stage with us.
Yes.
And I was like, absolutely never. No way. You're kidding. I'm the hugest introvert. I don't want to see people. I don't want to be around people. I don't want them looking over my shoulder when I'm painting. And he worked on me for like a year before I finally was like, fine, I'll try it. First show we did, I thought I was going to puke the entire time. And then afterwards, there was so much adrenaline. And I was just like, okay, I'll do that again.
Yes.
And so that was my first experience. They were a rock band, drums, bass, and electric violin. Ooh. Amazing sound. They were really fun. Unfortunately, I think they lasted maybe 3-4 years probably I painted with them, and the band ended up breaking up. Our drummer left for Austin, and a bunch of other stuff happened as it does in the band world.
Yeah.
And so then I had a friend of mine who, she was like, this is really cool. I want that too. Well, she's a classically trained saxophone player, and she has her doctorate of music. She's a professor at Boston University.
Wow.
And so we put together a project where she is performing live on her saxophone, and I'm live painting with that. Totally different vibe than a rock band.
Yeah.
And after that, I started painting with DJs, so electronic, dance music, house music, lots of progressive stuff. My partner right now, Craig, he is DJ Spree and DJ Paul Knox are his two alter egos, different styles of music. But every Friday night we do a live stream as DJ Spree, UK Happy Hardcore, and I do live virtual reality painting mixed reality stream with him. And so anyone who's out there listening, you can jump on our Twitch, you can make requests and see me draw it in 3D in real time.
So fun. You should put the link to that in the Discord chat when we're done chatting.
Yeah,
here,
absolutely.
That is amazing. Okay. How long have you all been doing the live streams?
We started that maybe a year and a half ago. He started streaming just in COVID, as everyone did.
Yep.
And, there was one day where he got a green screen and he was just using these visualizers. And I was like, can I make an animation for you for your streams? And he was like, I have a better idea. I don't know if we can actually make this work. And like 24 hours later, 30 different cords and connectors arrived in the mail, and he put it all together, and it just worked. Like, he's a genius.
That's so
And
awesome.
it is my favorite part of the week. It is just like an hour of pure imagination, and I know his music so well, and listening to it all the time, it's really happy, it's really bouncy, it's really high BPM, and so it's just so much fun for me to just like be inspired by that and make my happy robot worlds with that.
So how does your style of painting change with each genre, or does it stay?
Super good question.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, because it absolutely does. It's so much about like the story I hear in the music and try and make that story something that you can see as an audience member, because when I'm done with a painting, like, unless you were there, you don't know all the layers that happened behind it.
Yeah.
And so I try and make each stage of the painting like showing part of this story of what this music makes in my imagination.
Yeah.
And so with the different music, it's all very, very different. The rock band Marvel, I ended up doing a lot of like trees and landscapes and like brown and gold and just all these different colors. The saxophone, we end up like I help her choose the music for our sets with that, which is cool because we do a lot of themes, and so it's a little bit more specific to like our overarching theme that we have for each show. And then for the stuff with Paul Knox or Spree, it can be anything like that. That's the biggest variety. But like he always does his sets ahead of time and sends them to me, and then I'll spend just hours listening and sketching, and whatever kind of comes up or whatever I hear in the music, I try and put that out there on the canvas.
Okay, so have you been able to prepare it all for tomorrow night's show?
This is a new thing. I very rarely jump in with a band that I don't know well, or a musician that I don't know super well. So it's a big risky thing for me, and so I'm just pushing myself to the boundaries of the comfort zone. And I've definitely listened to a bunch of their music just to see what starts simmering up. But I think it's gonna be a surprise.
Ooh.
There might be robots.
It's like all of it's a surprise except for one thing.
There's a theme here that goes throughout my work that you may recognize.
Oh, that's really exciting. Just hearing that, it is like a collaborative process between you and the musician, and not so much two separate experiences. Exactly. Happening.
Yeah, that's what I really feel like I get out of it, is that it is a co-creation. Like while a lot of my live paintings look similar to each other, they look very different from what I do when I'm alone in my studio by myself.
I can only imagine. It sounds like environment plays a big impact too on what's being created, and I'm sure like musicians almost feel the same way too. Like what they are producing might be a little different than what they are playing live. So
yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it is very fun, and I love doing the electronic music and DJs. I'm a bass junkie, so this is gonna be perfect.
I was just about to ask, like, what kind of music do you listen to in your free time?
Anything electronica, all DJs, and I don't really deviate from that.
A purist. I love it. Cool. What was the last show you caught for fun?
Oh gosh, where did we go for fun? We were actually just at Roke Music Lounge in St. Paul last Saturday. Champion Sound threw a little show, and so they just had their their guys up on stage. So Modest and a couple of the other DJs who I'm completely blanking on their names right now, but are part of the Champion crew.
Yeah.
And so that was a super fun one.
That's a fun little venue. It is a tiny space that packs in a big bang.
Yes. Sadly, they are not going to be around after April. The building changed ownership, and so they're looking for a new space, but I think they're going to keep it going.
No.
I know.
Oh.
They were our favorite too. We did a lot of shows with them, with Craig and I with the live painting.
Yeah.
So.
I'm personally a sucker for electronic music and a good cocktail.
Hey.
And if you can give me both in the same place, I'm just like, I'll keep coming back.
Yeah, they're your people then. All right, well, I got to tell you about more of our shows then.
Yes, okay, please. Tell me more about your shows.
Actually, speaking of what I like to listen to and what I do for fun, I do have a painting exhibit up at Superior Genetics that is exclusively my live art paintings, and we're going to do an art party opening reception, basically, if you will, April 13th.
April 13th, okay.
And it's going to be an all drum and bass show, so we are bringing the bass.
Oh my gosh,
We're bringing the big speakers.
I am pulling up my Google calendars right now, as everybody else should. Pick up your phone with me. Scroll to April 13th. Oh, I got a wedding that weekend, but I'm still putting it on my phone.
It's going to be an early show, so it's 6 to 10, so you can start your night there and, go to the reception after.
So fun. So for people that aren't super familiar with these, with the names like Superior Genetics and Driftwood Char Bar, they're actually right next door to each other, which is pretty cool. And they are also straight down Nicollet.
Yes.
Further south Nicollet than I honestly have ever been. That road goes on forever and ever and ever. But yeah, easy to find. And if you all make it out to the show tomorrow night, you'll easily be able to find out where Superior Genetics is. Oh, that's really cool. So the stuff up at Driftwood is more like at home done paintings, and then the one at...
Yes, you got that right.
Okay.
And the one at Superior is all the live pieces, and they're huge and colorful, and there's a bunch of them. So
how big of a painting are you doing tomorrow night?
I've got a 30 by 40 inch canvas ready to go for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
so it's only going to be an hour, maybe 2, and that's a pretty short time to do a painting in. So
okay.
I'll be speed painting.
Ooh, I'm so excited to see how it turns out. Well, hey, let's take a little break from this chat and play a song. And we'll give people maybe... Ooh, this is what we'll do. We're going to play a Vibronics song. And if you're hanging out in our Discord chat, if you were a painter, tell us what part of it would inspire you to add what, whether it's a color, an image, or whatever. We'll see. We'll challenge our listeners.
I love it.
Thinking here. So Vibronics actually just recently released an album. Have you had a chance to check it out?
Yeah.
Women on a Mission 2.
Super cool.
So cool. And him and I get a chance to talk about it in our interview, which you'll hear. But I just super love the idea of just highlighting all these femme-identifying artists in one album, a little showcase of everybody. So it was really hard to pick a favorite. But I'm going to play this one called Turn It Up. I believe this is the second or third track on the albums. And the collaborator is Sandra Cross. Let's give it a listen. All right, that was Turn It Up. That was a fun track.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to see what comes out on the canvas.
Unfortunately, I don't think any of our listeners commented their vibes or thoughts in the chat, but it is popping off. There's a lot of people in there. So if you're listening right now and you want to have your chance to win tickets to come see Inside the Robot Paint and DJ Elsewhere Spin and Scratch and Vibronics and McPullish, just come in the chat, comment at least once. But it's a good time, so you'll keep coming back. And then you'll have a chance to win. Okay, Linnea, tell me, while we were listening to that music, we were talking a little bit about inspiration.
Yes.
In addition to music, what else inspires you?
Ooh, I have just a library of color in my head. So the sky, flowers, nature, going to museums and seeing art that makes a difference in the world. One of my favorite things is the Orangerie Museum in Paris, where Monet has these huge mural water lily pieces. And I've been to see them so many times, and I just do not get tired of them. It's like your favorite song. Like you never turn on your favorite song and I'm just like, I don't feel like this. It's just always you want to hear it one more time. And so for me, going there and just like, I'm in an altered state after I leave that place.
I bet.
It's very magical for me, transformative. So yeah, but like I think about it all the time. Like this was this guy sitting in his garden somewhere in France 100 years ago, and now I'm years and years later in this museum looking at these pieces, and like that is life-changing for me. Like I want to change someone's world like that with my art.
Yeah, and you too get to sit in a space and create, and that's beautiful. So how long have you been painting? I know you said you started the robots in 2004, but when did like creating art kind of step into your life?
So basically, as soon as I could hold a crayon, I've always colored and drawn and made pictures, and there was just no question. Art school was the only thing I ever wanted to do, even though, it's not always practical. But I have been a freelance artist basically ever since. And so it's really hard and really amazing. And I just can't do it any other way. So yeah, I started young, got in trouble for coloring on the walls, the whole deal. My first mural was under the stairs.
Would you have any advice for people out there who are like passionate about art and interested in art, but I don't know, might have like hesitations or fears about committing to it and really like giving it their all?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give is just don't wait for inspiration. Just make it a practice. Just start a drawing every day. Do something creative every day. You can't, inspiration is unreliable. And you just have to be in a place where you can just start making and the inspiration will follow.
I think that's so relevant too for any style of art too. Not even just sitting down with a brush or a pen, but an instrument.
Anything that brings you joy,
yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm sitting here all right, Alicia, you should start journaling every day. You really should focus on your writing a little bit more.
Just make it small. Make it bite-sized at first, but once I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of other artists who have similar mindsets, but it's really hard to get started. But once I get started, I can lose myself in the flow for days.
I've really fallen in love with the word practice recently.
Yeah.
Because it can be used so many ways, but it still ties back to each other. You practice doing something, but also something is a practice. And I, for some reason, just really I sound like a little stoner here. I'm just practice. But that word has just so much weight to it and meaning. And I'm just I
agree. I like that a lot too, because you're not going every day to do your perfection. You're just practicing.
Exactly.
A doctor practices.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. That one makes me nervous.
I took a class once and it talked about gratitude as a practice. And that was something I had never thought of before. And it's stuck with me really hard. It's I need to remind myself to be grateful, on a regular basis. It isn't just something that comes naturally. And anyway, that's my little stoner thought for the day. I love the word practice.
Well, I'm going to practice some painting tomorrow night, right in front of you all. So you'll see every mistake I make, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the opportunity to watch the process begin from beginning to end. And I hope if you all join us at the show tomorrow, you take time not just to notice the finished project, but to also take note of Linnea's painting as it develops, as it comes, halfway through and at the end, because I'm sure each one's its own experience.
My tagline is I make watching paint dry fun.
I love that.
It's funny because it's true.
Well, thank you so much for taking this time to chat and
pleasure.
being a part of the show. I am so excited for tomorrow. I'll definitely get a chance to take a deeper look at everything you have.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll party then. Let's listen to another DJ Elsewhere song. This one is... Okay, if this is what I think it is, it's my favorite bootleg of theirs. This is titled Oops. All right, we are back. Kayla, what do you think of that interview?
That was great. That was great. I was kind of engrossed by that. And like I agree with so many of those points. Yeah, like the practicing. Make it a daily practice. Like, and I don't know if you feel the same way about this, but like, inspiration isn't reliable, like you said. But when I'm kind of at a point right now where I've practiced so much that like the faucet's turned on, and now I struggle more with like finding time for things like sleep and eating. And I don't know if that's like a common occurrence or if I'm just insane.
Must be a creative thing.
Yeah.
It has to be a creative thing. And you too, Kayla, you also have like a visual and audio process. That's something you both, as Linnea was saying that, I was like, that's exactly what Kayla does.
I was sitting there in the background, just nodding excitedly, like, yep, that's I get, that's what I do. Yeah, it's strange how when I first started, it was just kind of like, it was kind of a Hail Mary. It was like I just need some kind of thing to like try and get people more interested in my sets, and I thought of the video thing, and then like the Serato video, and it's like when I realized how I could put it together, how it would work. I realized that like, okay, like I know how I could do this, but it's like, I'm not really a visual artist. Like, so how do I figure out what to make? It's like if I do a remix, like I can take like the original video of the song I'm remixing and kind of, like edit that or whatever. But, when I'm, I worried about like, what am I going to do? Am I going to run out of ideas? And it's crazy how quickly, when you find a process that works, it's amazing how once you figure that out, like things just present themselves. Like videos when I don't know, when I have no idea, I usually cram, I have ADHD. I have that, it's like my brain floods me with the focus chemicals at the last possible minute. So it's like I'm always just working against a deadline and just like cranking out tons of stuff like right before a big show. And like I've had shows where I've got like it's the day before and I have like 5 tracks that I need videos for. 5 tracks that I have no idea what I'm going to do, no start of any video, like no nothing, and I have no idea. And somehow, like, not only do I pull it off, but it's like every video winds up being like the perfect representation of the track that I was working on. It's just, yeah, like when you're in the flow state or whatever, it's like, yeah, things just kind of happen.
Yeah, especially when art isn't forced. And I know sometimes, like, when we feel like we're doing something last minute, it can be like misinterpreted for forced, but it's actually like sometimes that's actually when the burst of inspiration comes.
That's exactly it. It's I'm not.
And you do your best creating.
Yeah, I'm not forcing myself to create nonstop, and that's where the problem is. The problem is I'm forcing myself to like keep going because I have the inspiration. Like it's a problem more with like physical health. It's like I'm not. It's like sometimes before a show I'll get like an hour or 2 of sleep at most.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Oh. Well, hey, let's listen to another song. I'm feeling very song heavy. Cool. Right now. And then after this, we'll jump into our interview with the headliner for the evening of Vibronics. He is a UK dub artist who has been spinning and producing since the 90s. He is in this for the long haul, and he loves it. It was a great chat with him. So let's turn on another Vibronics song. This one, I know I said it's hard to pick a favorite, but this one might actually be my favorite. This is Dub Runnings with Empress Shima, and Vibronics, and this is off the Woman on a Mission 2 album.
Honestly.
Oh, that was dub running. I was just telling these folks my favorite part of that song was the because talking about music's hard. As much as I talk about music.
Yeah, no, that's how I talk about music.
It's the technical term.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, like, I know people who are like, they went to like grad school for music, some of them, and it's like, what you're talking, it's like, the part where it's like wah 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 wah, wah, like that's, I mean, it's just the easiest way to do it.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that gatekeepy, y'all. It's have to be that gatekeepy EDM Twitter. Talk about. Anyway, they get a little too technical for me sometimes. It makes me feel like I'm like, do I even really like music? Because
I don't know. The side chain is a little bit, the angle on that side chain is a little off. Maybe you could adjust the offset a little bit. Like, I'm just saying.
And I'm like, I just like the low part, the low long part. Anyway, you love music and art is valid, honestly. I feel that pretty strongly. Okay, so, Kayla, you have you do a variety of different types of music.
Yeah.
But this is, I guess, what can we expect from your set for this show, especially considering, we got some dub happening. What's happening with your set?
Well, I have an hour set, and I'm finally at a place now with my music, where, when I first started this project, the video thing and everything, I was just trying to fill time more than anything, trying to like gather enough material to fill an hour set.
Yeah.
And now I have, a solid 2 hours of stuff that's, that I can play that I'm happy with. It's like I have more than that, but it's like I have 2 hours of stuff that'd be happy to play anytime. So I'm able to like pick and choose more, and I'm always making new stuff too. So probably expect more of the kind of wubby, like low tempo kind of dubby stuff that I make for this, and probably I don't know how many new tracks.
Come and find out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, let's get going with this interview with Vibronics. I'm so excited to share this with y'all. Steve and I called from 2 very different time zones. I think it was about noon my time and like 7 p.m. his time or something like
Makes
that.
sense.
Super thankful it worked out, though. I honestly didn't know if I was going to be up in time. I had worked a warehouse gig the night before until the sun was up. And I think he was trying to be accommodating, like, oh, like noon your time. And meanwhile, I'm like crawling out of bed. So
Yeah, I've been there.
if I sound a little off in this interview, I just breathed in a lot of fog the night before. Here is my interview with Vibronics. Steve, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me today. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm over here in a very different time zone, but I'm looking forward to joining your time zone in a few days' time.
Yes, so you're anticipating your first United States tour. What are you expecting?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I've played in the US before, but that was in Brooklyn a few years ago. So this is kind of my first visit to all of these locations I'm going to on the tour and are new for me. So kind of my eyes are open. I'm just going to see what each place is like. I know that the dub scene, like everywhere, is super underground, and it's a kind of emerging scene. But I've had a lot of support from United States since I started my music, people listening and buying the music. So I'm just kind of looking forward to, meeting some of the people that enjoy the music.
Well, I'm really excited for you to check out what we have going on in Minneapolis. I always tell people it's kind of like a little hidden sweet spot. A lot of people are gonna think Denver for their electronic music or one of the coast, but we got a nice little hidden gem here in Minnesota, and I'm hoping you're gonna enjoy it.
Nice.
Um, so tell me a little bit about this most recent album you put out, Woman on a Mission 2. I absolutely love it. What inspired you to do an album with all femme identifying artists, and not even once, but twice?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying the record. I'm really proud of it. I'm super happy. I still enjoy listening to it. I mean, yeah, the reason that I wanted to do this, I mean, it's a collaborative process. So I'm working with like a venue and cultural organization called Cross Club, who are in Prague, in Czech Republic. And they are involved in all kinds of like political things, as well as like running sort of predominantly electronic music venue. And they wanted to do something kind of sort of political for some kind of release to involve me in some recording some music and releasing it. And then I said, well, maybe we could do something about the role of women in the dub scene, because historically it's been such a kind of man dominated scene. And through my, 25 plus years in the scene, I've seen more and more women get involved in the dub and sound system scene. Um, and the first album that came out, people really resonated with, and they just enjoy. We released it on an International Women's Day, and people just really rallied around the project. And then years later, then Cross Club came back to me and said, "Look, do you want to do another album? Because let's look at how things have changed." And I was, yeah, straight away like, yeah, let's do it. This is great because things again have moved forward in so many ways since the first volume. And for me, as a music producer, I was really keen to work with female music producers on this album as well as vocalists, just to show that um, so many amazing female music producers out there in the dub scene.
Yes. So like you mentioned, we have seen a great increase in women in music and women in dub. But why is it important, or why do you think it's important that even though we've seen all these great strides for women in music, why is it important to continuously lift them up as like a political choice?
Well, I think there's still um, women in the music scene who maybe feel like they can't get involved in the music scene because it's so male orientated. And especially, I'm working kind of all around the planet. So, and in some countries where they're much more sort of patriarchal, I think there's sort of less tolerance of women to be involved in things which have traditionally been seen as like man things, in the studio. And it's like I don't subscribe to that at all. I think, this the studio should be for everybody. So anything for me that kind of that shows aspiring female artists and music producers that like, well, music's there being made, then people by by other women in the scene, I think is just a really important message, and I hope it inspires some people that to get involved.
Yes. How long did it take you to put together this album, having so many collaborators on it?
I mean, I'm used to doing collaborations. It's something I've really enjoyed since I started doing my music. So the whole thing, I guess, probably took like sort of 6 months, because straight away I knew some of the people I wanted to work with. So I reached out to those and said, look, this is the new project. You want to get involved? And the reaction was just like, it was yes from everybody
Yes.
I asked. So that kind of gave me the confidence to kind of think I'm doing the right thing. Because obviously, I'm a man myself, producing music, and I don't want to kind of, I want to get support from people for the project who agree that it's a good and worthy thing to do. And that was the vibe from the start. And it's really been like, for me, playing in all these different countries all around the world, seeing so many more women involved in every aspect of the music industry, making the music, promoting the music, playing the sound system, moving the sound system, in the studio, singing, designing stuff, just every aspect of the music industry. Um, then it still for me is something to celebrate, and a change that I can see has happened.
Yes. We can definitely get behind that over here on our publication. Um, yeah, when they sent over that you were coming to town and that you had also put out this album recently. Um, yeah, the message was loud as clear as soon as we saw the title album. We're like, yes, this is um an exciting mission, if you so will. So, when did you, a little bit more about you and your journey. When did you start producing and mixing? How long have you been in the game?
Well, I kind of started in the mid 90s, really. The world was a very different place, no internet, just a completely different world. Um, but there was already like a solid but very underground but solid sound system scene here in the UK, which totally inspired me. And I was hearing this music, and I was only really hearing it in sound system sessions. And it's like, this is the kind of music I want to make. I want to make music that's got this kind of impact. Um, and yeah, so I started, almost, getting on for 30 years ago now. Um, and since then, there's just been this explosion of dub music all around the world, which I could have never foreseen back in the day.
Yeah. Um, are there any particular scenes that you've experienced or seen that have just like, yeah, taken you, by surprise or just really been something kind of innovative?
Well,
And all,
the main thing for me is like when I started in the 90s, especially because there's no internet, no social media. Um, there's very little awareness of what's happening kind of internationally. And I kind of knew what was happening in the UK, but I wasn't really aware of stuff that was happening outside of the UK because there wasn't a huge amount going on in this particular genre that I'm in. And then slowly I saw people become more and more interested in it, starting to travel with it more. And the kind of biggest sort of surprise and like wow thing for me is to go and play in places that I never thought I would be, because I like Japan, incredible country, but I kind of knew there was a music industry there because there was always people talk about like music in Japan, but I never expected to be playing in Peru or Philippines or kind of places like that. That's been the biggest surprise to me is just countries that I didn't expect where people just connect with my music in the same way they do everywhere. It's kind of, like a universal appeal thing, but that's been an amazing experience.
yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth with music being kind of universal experience. Um, So, how long did it take you to, because, or maybe I should reword the question like this, but how have you seen your own like personal style of dub transform over the years since you started versus now?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting question because it's been a long time, and like when this particular style of like very digital dub reggae roots music made for sound systems really sort of started in the UK in the early 90s. So it was a brand new scene when I kind of discovered it. And since then it's kind of it's 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 interesting because obviously things sound better, production levels have raised, people have got more access to better equipment and knowledge, including myself. But in terms of the actual music, it's a bit like sort of house music or like drum and bass or something where it's kind of okay, it sort of evolves and moves on, but it stays as it is as a genre. And it's like that's what I've seen happen is that this genre was created and just more and more people have discovered it and they want to celebrate it. And they kind of, people want it to move forward, but they celebrate it being what it is as well. Like I guess if you're like if you're into blues, you want to go and hear blues, and if you're into free jazz, you want to go and hear free jazz, and if you're into kind of sound system dub, you want to hear sound system dub. So you
Yeah,
want it to be in that style.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, true to its roots is what I'm hearing. It stayed that
Yes.
way for you. Yeah. So outside of music, what else are you interested in? How else do you spend your time?
Well, music just takes over my life. I mean, because
Yeah, it
I'm
really does.
because I'm doing it from the old sort of punk do it yourself kind of style where I do a lot of it myself. I work with a great team of people, but I organize a lot of the bookings myself. I run the label myself. I organize a lot of the distribution of the records myself. I produce the music myself. I do the shows myself. And again, I can't do it without these people I work with, but I do a lot of it myself. So I don't have much time away from music. I mean, what's been really, when I look back, I'm really like, wow, that was a win-win. Is that kind of travel is like my hobby, really. And if I wasn't doing music, I'd want to travel and see places. And yet
Right.
here I am traveling with my music. So it's kind of like, not only do I get to turn my hobby making music into my job, I also get to turn my hobby traveling into my job, looking forward to coming to Minneapolis for the first time, literally the other side of the world. So that's, so the travel side of it for me is more than just music. It's just very interesting experience.
Yeah, definitely seems a catalyst to push a lot of other things forward. Um, let's talk a little bit about the label. What did you start the label?
The label started in is either 2000 or 2001. I'd have to look up exactly when it was, but that's, one of those years. That's when we started. Um, and I started it with the guy I was working with very closely at the time, a guy called Richie Roots, who's from the city that I'm in now in Leicester. Sadly, he passed away 10 years ago. But we set the label up together because we were both just vinyl junkies, and we both followed this genre of music, this kind of dub sound system style of music. And we would love labels that specialized in that music. So you'd think, oh, there's a new release on that label. So of course you're checking for artists and producers, but you're checking for the label as well. Like, this label, we trust this. And we
Yeah,
both agreed that, like, that's our ambition, is to make a label where people trust it and go, yeah, that's my kind of label. That's making that kind of music, in the way that people would with Studio One in Jamaica, or, Blue Note in New York, or, it's kind of, Alternative Tentacles in, in San Francisco or whatever. It's kind of, a label that people trust, like, yeah, that's my kind of label dealing with my kind of stuff. So that's why we started. And, you know, 70 odd releases later, it's still going.
yeah. That's awesome. I really love to hear your like, take and view on sticking to a genre sound and like really just kind of honing it in because I think we see a lot of there's like two sides of the coin. There's like holding on to like so people know what to expect, and then there's people who are trying to take like uh trying to find the next experimental take or the next um go of it. And yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I really love just hearing all your views on
No,
um
100%.
holding
And
it
that's
down.
something that
Yeah.
interests me a lot because, like, especially when I started and I was young, it was, I was influenced by a lot of electronic music outside of the world of reggae. And I kind of brought a lot of those influences in, like many producers did. There's nothing unusual about
Hmm.
that. Um, but I was kind of young and wanted to make this kind of new style. Whereas now I'm older, it's like I still love to try and, push things forward. And when I hear some people release stuff and I'm like, I would rather hear things progress a little more. But it's everyone's got their own sort of specific taste or whatever. But so I'm trying to sort of progress what I do, but at the same time, my friend just described it as like it's having edges to your canvas. It's like just trying to work within this tiny little genre
Yeah.
and finding a way to express myself within something that's got very strong parameters. And this is, you can't add this or add that. You can't take that away. You have to work within these kind of rules, or, I don't like the word rules, but, within a sort of, an aesthetic or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but finding, for me, it's interesting to find a way to express myself through that tiny little genre. And I still manage to, I still feel inspired to do it. So, that's the main thing for me.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, you mentioned earlier you do a lot, everything from the label to producing, to the booking and everything. What part of it is your favorite? If you can pick, but what part of it just like consistently sparks joy for you?
It's definitely the making music. It's like that was interesting in the pandemic period because obviously the shows stopped and I've been traveling so much prior to the pandemic. And first of all, it was like, oh wow, no traveling. And it's like, okay, well then I'm going to spend even more time in the studio. And for me, it was a kind of rediscovery of, you know, my roots because it was very hard time for a lot of people. And I consider myself very lucky that I'd found something really kind of positive to do with my time in that crazy time. And because when I started, it was just about making music in the studio. That's all it was. Vibronics was totally studio project, make music, give it to the sound systems. Hopefully they'll play it. And the performing and playing and releasing it, that all came later. So it was good to return to the original spirit of just making music in the studio. And I kind of felt really comfortable to do that. So, and that's still the thing that, you know, that it's all based on is making music, definitely.
So, you've been doing this for a while. Would you have any advice to share with someone who is, looking to produce music, to play music, but also have a long career? What advice would you have for them?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I do look back and ask myself, you know, how do I manage to keep doing it? And kind of, you know, it's a tiny little scene, and I wouldn't call myself like a great success or anything, but I'm still managing to do it and invited to play in all these places around the world. So I consider myself very lucky in that respect. And I do ask myself, how did that happen? And I mean, a lot of it from the main advice I would give anybody really is the classic advice that people have been giving for years is that you just got to keep working at it. You've got to put your hours in and you've got to focus on it. I mean, for me, I've sacrificed a huge amount for it because it's kind of all I want to do really. So, you know, music's kind of the primary thing for me. Um, and it's like it's because I think a lot of people see music as a because it's a joy. It brings people such upliftment, and especially in terms of live music, there's a lot of energy and atmosphere and a kind of party and whatever. And it's like that's great. They're fantastic parts of it. But if you're going to do it for a long, long time, it has to be something that you work at, and it's you know you just it's that taking that step to kind of seeing it as your job. I mean, the word job has got a lot of kind of connotations about oh it's just you know I'm forced into doing this or whatever but it's like you know job work whatever you want to call it but it's like definitely just you know focus on doing the thing that's all I'd say.
Yeah, solid advice, timeless or something innovative. Yeah, just give it your all is what I'm hearing.
And
Well,
enjoy it as well and just like that's the key as well is I think if I was feeling I was forcing it then I, for a start, I think people would just notice that and would become less interested in it because when you're releasing music, it's you know, okay. I'm making music because I love making it. It's really important to me to express myself. But I'm then releasing it, so I'm kind of hoping that people want to listen to it and get involved in it. And that's you can't force people to do that. That's their choice. You know, you can promote something like crazy, but people will only listen to it if they actually like it. And I think if you're making music that you're kind of forcing yourself to, or you're not motivated, then people will just listen to it and not get the vibe. So, you know, I'm kind of lucky in the sense that I still feel motivated to make it and still enjoy it and kind of try and pass that on to people listening.
yes. Well, wow, I just appreciate your insight so very much today. I'm really looking forward to you coming out on Thursday, March 7th, at Driftwood Char Bar here in Minneapolis. Are there any I don't know, final thoughts or words or anything you want to share with our listeners?
Yeah, I would just say, you know, come down and check it out because I know that the dub scene is quite small in the United States. And if there's people who are kind of like, well, I'm interested in this, then come and check it out. It's good vibes all the way. You know, we'll do what we can to entertain. I'm there with McPullish from Austin, Texas. So, you know, US legend of dub. You know, we're doing this tour together, and we're just there to create a good vibe and give people some interesting music to listen to. So if you're at all not sure, I'd say just come down and check it out.
Just do it. There's really not much to lose.
Thursday night, come on, what else are you gonna do?
Awesome. Well, Steve, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, which is when this episode will air the day before. Yeah, and thank you so much again for everything.
Yeah, great, fantastic. I look forward to it. I'll see you very soon.
Ah, that was such a fun interview. You know, I don't know if you saw this in one of my posts, Kayla, but guess how many international guests we've now had on This Is a Radio Show?
I wish I had seen that so I could lie and pretend that I just guessed it, but I didn't. So, how many is it?
3.
3.
Yeah. We've had Steve from the UK, Carly, who is a vocalist. She is, I forget where she's from, but I think she's from the UK too. I just forget where. Jenna would know. She is a big Carly fan. We sticky love her. And then we had the guys who do Paradox Productions, a dark techno production team in Canada on the show. So 2 different places, 3 guests. Well, technically 3 different places. I know the UK is really big. I just am really bad at geography.
Yes.
So
Yes. Very big difference between England and England and Northern Ireland.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, but that was my interview with Vibronics. Super fun one. I would love to hear in the chat what y'all's favorite part of that interview was. But yeah, let's keep it going. Let's listen to another song. This one, we're going to do this one. That is a McPullish collaboration track. And this song's called Journey, and I believe this is actually an unreleased one that he sent over for us.
Ooh, I might have to steal it.
Uh-huh. All right, that was Journey. That was smooth.
That was great. I love that.
Smooth is the word I'd give to that. Yeah, a little bit of a continuation of our conversation we're having during that song, but are you going to dance this weekend? Or are you going to dance tomorrow night?
Well, I mean, maybe. I'm not opposed to it, but then again, I am performing, and I have a tendency to like take it easy after my sets, because as I was saying earlier, like ADHD, deadlines, focus chemicals, like it's
kind of like a release afterwards.
Yeah, or at times just a complete crash. So I'll do my best.
Yeah, I have chronic pain in my hip, and it's just my muscles get tense and sore down there sometimes. But last weekend I worked an event, and there was music, and I like to dance, and even if I'm working, I'll dance. But I could not do any fun movement with my body, and I was like, yes, I love this, but oh my gosh, I cannot overextend myself. So anyway, all that to say, my hip is feeling a lot better, and I'm gonna have to let out all that dancing energy tomorrow night that I couldn't expend last weekend.
Perfect.
I know, I'm really stoked. Screw you, hip.
For me, it's my back.
And man, it's always something.
Yeah. Getting older.
Yeah. I don't know. It sucks, but I'm trying, I'm doing the things I need to do to make sure it doesn't stay a forever chronic problem. But do you know how I messed up my hip?
How?
I fell in a mosh pit.
Oh, wow.
What was I doing in a mosh pit at 28 years old, 29 years old?
Whose mosh pit?
Days and Days.
Wow. Okay, this is like slightly unrelated, but it just reminds me of my most memorable mosh pit story.
Please tell me.
When I was 16, I went to the Warped Tour.
Yes.
And it was the first year. I don't know. I went the year before. It was the first year that they had pop punk as they had a pop punk main stage.
Yeah.
And then they had what used to be the main stage where all the 90s skate punk and stuff was. and it was a weird, intense vibe that year. Like people were out to prove something, and I remember I was 16, very very young and naive, and hadn't been in many mosh pits, and I really loved Rancid, and I was right up front for Rancid, not really knowing what was about to happen.
Oh no.
And I got my shit handed to me, but I also remember in the middle of that, just struggling to stay right side up. Like I looked up, and just as I looked up, I was right in front of the stage, and Lars Fredriksson, the guitar player, had this huge red spiky mohawk, and right as I looked up, he was right in front of me. He had taken a big slug of water and then spit, and it hit me right in the face. And I thought that was the coolest thing that ever happened to me. Like I was like, oh, I got anointed.
I love it. I love it. I think honestly, when I fell in this mosh pit, I wasn't hard in the mosh pit. I'm on the edge and I'm pushing back, but I wasn't struggling for my life. But some knock came and knocked me down so fast. And what the other thing was is someone picked me up so fast. I don't even actually remember ever being on the ground. I remember my back hitting a shoe or a foot or something, and then immediately being back up and was oh. And it was 2 days later it started to hurt. It was it didn't even hurt immediately. Yeah. I was I walked out of there fine.
Yeah, could have been a lot worse.
Definitely. Oh man. I will not be moshing though to dub this weekend.
Yeah, I can't imagine. It's funny too, right? You can't really think of people moshing to dub, but literally you just add the step, and it's just oh yeah, there's the mosh pit.
It's gonna be a good time tomorrow. I really hope you all can come out. Also, I know I've said this a million times. If you're just listening and you're not in the Discord chat, pop in the Discord chat, drop a hello. You can win 2 tickets and a Sensi Seed gift bag. The tickets are tonight to tomorrow night's show. I love to give them away. We're gonna play one more interview. This is our interview with McPullish. And then we'll pick our winner afterwards. So I would say you got about 15 minutes left to win. But yeah, McPullish was a great interview. He hails from Texas and is going on this little 4-day tour, back-to-back tour, mind you, with Vibronics. And this is the very first stop of that 4-stop tour. So we're going to get them nice and fresh out the gate.
First time in the U.S., right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So, I think it's his first tour. He had done one other show in New York. This is his first thing that he's putting together and doing.
New York is basically Europe, though.
Yeah. Ain't nothing like what we got here in the Midwest.
Right.
All right. So you heard there that was a collab track with McPullish called Journey. We're going to play the McPullish interview now. Let's go. Carson, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me today about your upcoming show here in Minneapolis.
Yeah, it's good to chat with you, and we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Have you been to Minnesota before?
I was born in Minneapolis.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little hometown reunion then. Awesome.
Yeah.
How long has it been since you've been up here?
I was there a couple or few years ago for the Word Sound Power event. And
that was a good time.
Yeah, that was cool. Big up Scott and the whole crew. That was fun, and I haven't been back there since that. And before that, I hadn't been back to Minneapolis for many years. So it was interesting to see how the city's changed and see some old friends and family and stuff. How the music scene there is kind of changing, and there's some cool dub stuff there, and young people starting sound systems and nights, and it's cool.
Yeah. What's the scene like for dub down in the Austin area for you?
Well, it's interesting. There's a roots reggae scene here that's been here a long time. And then there's the dub scene is kind of scattered where there's bass music and more electronic dub, and then there's some more roots kind of sound systems. So there's some stuff going on. We do an annual session at the Austin Reggae Festival, and it's called Charlie's Dub Corner, and my label puts that on. And this year we have a really cool lineup. We got Dubsty coming from New York. We have Jalonzo, who's a Jamaican dub producer. So there's, and I see a lot of good music here, and people love dub here, but there's not really a strong there's not really like a monthly or like one sound that's really like promoting it. It's kind of just here and there,
Yeah.
slowly growing, and some people know about it. Still pretty underground, you know?
Yeah, good things take time.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing dub shows here for like 15 years,
Oh,
and I've
wow.
seen like, I've done shows with like Mad Professor and coming to town, or like more electronic artists, and you kind of see the different, like it's a matter of like getting people together. Austin has so much music in general
It does.
that it's crazy. It's like, hey, let's do an event during South by Southwest, or like during ACL week or whatever. And there's so much music. It's like saturated sometimes with,
Yeah,
in general, not dub, but
I can
so
see that. Yeah.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your label. What's it called?
My label is called Charlie's Records. It's named after my cat, Charlie, who used to sleep on the records, and it seemed like he was like the boss who was like managing the stock and stuff. So we just started calling it Charlie's Records. And the funny story behind that is there's actually another label called Charlie's Records that was around going back to like the 80s. And
Okay.
and they put out, or even the 70s, I guess, probably, and they put out like calypso music and all this like music from like Trinidad. And I found it online, and I got a hold of the original Charlie's Records guy, and he said, "Oh yeah, just use the name, no problem." So
Wow.
I got the blessing from the original Charlie's, from Charlie himself, the human. So so yeah, we just ran with that.
Oh,
But
that's really awesome. And
yeah,
how long have you been doing that label?
that label's been going since 2005, but it's been pretty sporadic. It's like mostly personal productions or friend stuff, and like put out a few records, take a break. I have a lot of different jobs and several children and animals and gardening and all kinds of stuff to do. So it's like one hobby kind of for me, but yeah, it's not
Yeah.
the most serious label, but we have released some tunes with some really great artists and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's been
Nice.
cool. Yeah.
When did you start producing?
I started making tunes, I think when I was about 13 years old,
Wow.
on like a 4-track that my cousin let me use so I could record like drum beats. And I had a sampler that probably held like 6 seconds of samples. So you'd like grab something from a record and loop it, and then it's like old school hip hop production type approach.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And how did you get plugged in with Vibronics and get on this tour that you're kicking off in Minneapolis?
I've been a fan of Vibronics music for a long time, since like probably the early 2000s. And I saw that he was doing shows here and there, and I've contacted him years ago, and he was super cool about giving me contacts to for like promoters and sounds and stuff in Europe and the UK. And he actually helped me kind of get my music out to some different places without knowing me or anything, just a really kind guy. And then he's been doing some touring, like going to Mexico and stuff. And I guess he was interested to check out the United States because he's only played in New York years ago. So he's been hearing about stuff going on, and he wanted to come and check it out and play some UK dub in the US.
Nice.
Worked
Nice.
out. So I'm along for the ride.
Yeah. What can people expect from your performance on this tour? Your performances? Are you gonna be doing some older stuff, newer stuff? What does that look like?
I'm going to be playing a mix of stuff, kind of depending on the night and where I'm playing in the lineup. But I have a lot of new music. We have a lot of unreleased dub plates and some really cool stuff with artists, like new tracks that aren't released yet. So you can expect to hear some stuff that you haven't heard anywhere, which is always fun to me to play, like new stuff or old stuff that no one really heard
Mhm.
unreleased. And then I might mix in some classic stuff on some of the nights and do more of like a DJ thing, and play some old school dub reggae too. Yeah.
Nice. So you mentioned a lot of unreleased stuff, but what is your most recent release or a project that you've put out?
Well, I've been working with a lot of labels and licensing music and using building rhythms with people. And I have a lot of new releases coming out with some singers. I'm working on some stuff with a guy named Young Shanty. I have a record I'm working on with Blind Prophet, which is kind of top secret. Doing some stuff with my friend Buka, and then some solo stuff. The most recent record that I released is called Lone Wolf McDub, and it's a solo instrumental, uh, unique. It's like a spaghetti western meets dub kind of theme.
Okay.
So it's very instrumental, very soundtracky, not typical heavy dub, but it has a dub element. And but yeah, that's it's been a couple years since I released my own music, and I have a bunch of stuff I'm doing. I'm one of these people that starts too many projects and then I have to finish them some point. So
I feel that on a very
it's
personal
constant.
level.
Yeah. I say
Oh,
yes. I'm like, yeah, it sounds great. And then I'm like, wait, when am I gonna finish it? You know? So
yeah. Yeah. Well, and yeah, it sounds like it provides an awesome opportunity though to, yeah, sit on things, remaster them, redo them, and also like play them out for people and get their responses for it from it before putting it out. That's
yeah,
cool.
it's a luxury to be able to say, okay, let's change the mix 2 years later because there's no label saying we have to put it out right now. There's no financial like push behind that. My own music is mostly for the love of it, so it frees you up a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. What made you fall in love with dub and with music in general?
I think I always liked music. Um, I always liked more experimental, electronic, weird remixes, things like that. I really didn't grow up listening to much reggae or dub, and when I moved out to, I grew up in the Midwest, like I was saying, and then when I moved out to Seattle at about the age of 20, I started hearing Jamaican dub, and that just blew my mind. It was like, what is this music? I've never heard anything like this, and I got kind of obsessed with it, and just since then, that's been a huge part of my music. I was making music way before that, different styles of music, but
Hmm. Yeah.
and I
What were
still do, but
Yeah, what are some of those other genres?
um, I always liked, you know, like good rock music, guitar stuff, funk. I like psych rock. I grew up listening to a lot of hip hop. I used to play in punk bands, and like I liked like more abrasive or like out there kind of stuff. And so I think that's part of why dub appealed to me more than like the straight up old school reggae at that age, because the dub
Yeah.
had the crazy soundscape element to it. I like ambient music a lot,
Hmm.
soundtracks. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, a little bit of everything. And then we
yeah,
landed
oh yeah,
here. That's awesome. So you play other instruments?
yeah. I play a few instruments just well enough to track them in the studio. I'm not a virtuoso of any one instrument, but
Yeah.
I'm like a rhythm player, so I can get
Yeah.
around a little bit.
So how does having experience playing instruments help with your electronic music production?
It's a good question. I think, for one thing, drum programming, being someone that's actually sat there and played actual drum sets gives you a mentality when you're programming drums. If you choose to, you can make it sound a little more like a real drummer because you know what you would do as a drummer.
Hmm.
Whereas if you just start making beats and you've never like played a drum, I think you're going to have a different kind of beat, which can be very interesting. But some of my favorite programmers, like Sly Dunbar from Sly and Robbie, the Jamaican guy, he's a master drummer. So when he programs a drum track, it sounds like the mind of a great drummer is embedded in it. So I think playing real instruments helps connect you to music in a different way than if it's all just samples that you're putting in order. But
Yeah. Ooh, oh,
yeah,
that's a really interesting perspective. I'm excited for you to hear our theme song for the radio show because the person who we had produce it also is a drummer, and they in my because we did like a contest for people to submit music to be the theme song, and he just blew everybody out of the water. And like hearing your perspective on that is like that makes a lot of sense. That's really interesting.
yeah,
So it sounds like you have your hands in a lot of different pots, doing a lot of different things. Um, I don't know, how do you stay organized? How do you prioritize things?
man, that is a struggle. That is the struggle. I I'm not I'm not the most organized person, but I do have like a hierarchy of things that need to be done, and I try to like, but time is the master, and there's never enough time for everything. So that's a constant thing I'm working on actually. But I tend to be one of these people, like I said, that just starts a million projects and then have to whittle it down, you know. But
Yep.
but it's working out, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's got you here. You're getting to play shows and do what you love, and yeah, further that. So
Yeah.
when you come on up to Minneapolis, you're gonna have a chance to do anything else besides perform this show? You're gonna go do anything fun?
Yeah, we don't have any set plans yet, but it's going to be Vibronics' first time in the area, so it should be interesting for him. So we'll probably take him around and check out
Yeah.
some things in the city, and you know, check out some good food.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
you know, like yeah, I'm hopefully going to see some relatives and some friends, but it's
Nice.
going to be a pretty brief trip because we're doing 4 shows back to back. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Um, what sites do you think you're gonna go see? My brain first immediately pops to First Ave. You'll have to take him by and see all
yeah,
the stars on the building. That's always a really nice time.
yeah. I mean, I would love to take them to like Paisley Park,
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's going to be in the cards with like timing and where we are and everything. But I mean, it's been so long since I was in Minneapolis that it's almost like going to be a new, like I was there just briefly last
yeah,
time too. So it's going to be like kind of revisiting my home. And I only lived there when I was really, really young. So my knowledge of the city is not like someone that lived there in college or something, you know.
yeah.
So if you have any more suggestions, you know.
I'm gonna have to think on some things and I'll send them over to you because yeah, there's a lot to see in this city, and I think you could fit a good amount of stuff in a short amount of time too.
Nice. Definitely.
Well, awesome. Do you have any other thoughts or anything else you'd like to share with our listeners?
Just come check out Vibronics if you like music and you're into dub, and or even if you don't know if you like dub, come check out Vibronics and you'll find out if you like dub. And yeah, from the UK, we're in Minneapolis, March 7th. We're in Seattle, March 8th, LA the 9th, and Denver the 10th. And you can find tickets online. So
Woo, you're gonna
check it out.
need a lot of rest after that. Best of luck.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you, Alicia.
Mhm. Okay. That was the interview with McPullish. I think both these sets are going to be really good. I think all three of the sets are going to be really good tomorrow.
I mean, I didn't want to say, but yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to both of their sets for sure.
Have you played on a bill with international artists before?
Yes. It's yeah. I mean, definitely. I can't think of any. Like, I mean, Jesus.
Sorry, I kind of put you on the spot with that one. Those recall questions are a
It's
little
okay.
tough.
Yeah. I mean, like, I know I have done a ton. I mean, like, there was I did 4 years in a row going on this tour playing shows at South by Southwest, and it's like literally the entire like world of musicians comes to Austin, Texas for that.
Yeah.
So like I was on bills with people from all over the world on those. Actually once we shared a bill at this reggae lounge place in Austin with Egyptian.
Okay.
And actually his DJ used my gear. So yeah, not only have I played with an international artist, I played on my gear.
Well, this will be a good time all around tomorrow night. And you know who else is going to have a good time?
The winner?
The winner! Yes, the contest winner. So everybody who commented in the Discord chat got their name put on a spinny wheel to be entered to win 2 tickets to see Vibronics tomorrow, and then also a Scentsy Seed gift pack with White Widow seeds, rolling papers, a rolling tray. Put everybody's name into the wheel except for the person I am in romantic cahoots with. They are disqualified from this contest. And the wheel chose Alex. Alex. So congratulations, Alex. We'll see you tomorrow night at the function with the music on us and on Sensi Seeds.
Yay.
Yay! I need a clap. I need an audio thing with
I was telling you, you can program. I could map that for, all you need is a MIDI controller, and I could map that for you.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I'll get a MIDI controller on the list. Okay. Well, let's listen to another song as we head out. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, everybody. Kayla, thank you for hosting and helping.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, this was a good time. I'm just feeling super amped to doing this with all of y'all. If you enjoyed what you heard tonight and you want to keep the content free, you can make a donation to This Is Perfect Harmony on our webpage. On the right side, there's a donate button. You can also make a donation to Fuzz Talk Radio, Midwest Music 24/7, great shows every night of the week. We love Fuzz. We love what he does for the music community. We love y'all for being a part of this community. And yeah, I'm out of cheesy cheese, I guess.
Yeah, I don't have much. I'm just hungry.
Yeah, same. I'm like, the only cheese I can think of is actual cheese that maybe I can put in a taco after I eat. Get off the air.
Chipotle's still open? I might get a burrito.
Ooh, Chipotle might be. Awesome. Well, this episode is brought to you by Sensi Seeds. Alex, claim your prize in the Discord chat. And yeah, this is a song that McPullish it's on his record label, Charlie's Records. And I really just love the name of this track. This is Extra Firm Dub. The artist is Human Digital. Yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow night.